we're down in like verse 6 of Ezekiel chapter 6. And again, Ezekiel is preaching to the children of Israel in captivity. He's preaching up in Chebar, about 200 miles north of Babylon. And he is telling them exactly the way it is. He is telling them their relationship with God right at this time. And their relationship with God at this time is not good. They are on the wrong side of God. Okay? And we don't want to be on the wrong side of God, but that's where they are. And God is not, if you will, being nice to the children of Israel. He is very angry, okay? Really, really furious. And it says, my fury and my anger, okay, on them. And we left off last week, he's talking about their idol worship and how they've forsaken God for their idols. And tell them about, your altars shall be desolate, your images shall be broken. And remember, he's also said previously that a third of the children of Israel were going to be killed during Nebuchadnezzar's invasion of Israel. A third of them will be killed. A third of them another third will die. So we've got 2/3 of them that will be killed pretty much during Nebuchadnezzar's in the captivity. Some of them will be taken captive, but 2/3 of them, and then the third will be scattered, and they will be chased by the sword. Okay? They will be pursued, and altars desolate, images broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols. Okay? This is real anger. And these are God's chosen people. And I will, verse 5, I will lay the dead carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars. I mean, God is not being nice here at all. Okay? He's angry. That's why they're in the captivity. And in verse 6, in all your dwelling places, the cities shall be laid waste. Now, remember, at this time, when Ezekiel is receiving this vision and these words from God, this is about they're in the captivity. They've started the captivity. They're about 7 years away from when Nebuchadnezzar moves back into Israel to siege Jerusalem and to destroy Jerusalem and the temple. So there's about 7 years that we've got. So, and at this time, this 7 years later, that's when this stuff is a lot of this stuff is gonna happen. The second third, 2/3 of the people getting killed will be the ones that are defending, if you will, Jerusalem, and then the ones that die inside Jerusalem during the plague with the pestilence and all of that. Okay? Those are those 2/3. In all your dwelling places, the city shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate. The high places, they like to put their little shrines or altars up on the hills so they can be seen, and like all of any other empire's gods, the Babylonians and Egyptians and the Greeks and the Romans, the Parthenon, it's up on a high hill. Okay? So they're high places, shall be desolate. Okay? That your altars may be laid waste and made desolate. God he's no mercy here, really. And there's we don't need to worry about this is so hard to interpret. Some scriptures, the commentators they go all bonkers, but it's so hard to interpret. Well, this isn't hard to interpret here at all. This is, and your idols may be broken and cease, and your images may be cut down, and your works may be abolished. Okay? And so it's going to happen, he says. And again, the slain shall fall in the midst of you. And here's, if you will, the whole purpose of all of this, the captivity and the death that's going to happen, all of this, ye shall know that I am the Lord. You're going to know it, and there's, if you will, there's stuff happening with our church today, okay, that God is going to accomplish it. Okay? We're working on this land purchase right now, and we know that God will accomplish it because of what he has already done in that situation. Okay? God's going to make it happen. And we will know, even today, God does stuff so that we will know that he is the Lord. And that's pretty much the whole purpose of everything written in the Bible, so that we will know that he is the Lord. Okay? So, yet, we've had 5.5 chapters of pretty much, really down stuff. Okay? But here's a little glimmer, if you will, of hope here in verse 8. Yet will I leave a remnant. There's always a remnant. God always has a remnant of believers. There's still, even among the remnant that God always leaves, okay, there are still unbelievers, but there is a remnant of believers, okay? Yet, and folks that still trust God, folks that still love God, okay? I will leave a remnant, that ye may have some, okay, that shall escape the sword among the nations. There are going to be some, okay? There's idea, okay? Sin leads to judgment. That's what is happening. That's what's going to happen. Sin is leading to judgment. And in the case of the Jews that Ezekiel is preaching to, it is severe judgment. Okay? But then judgment, okay? Judgment leads to repentance. When God deals judgment, okay? Sometimes the light bulb in the head goes off. Duh. Okay? Maybe I need to turn back to God. So judgment leads to repentance. Okay? Repentance leads to forgiveness. Goodness. And forgiveness to reconciliation. Okay? And reconciliation back to the fellowship with God. That's what he's kind of saying here in the next verse or two, okay, that this is what's going to happen. Judgment, repentance, forgiveness, reconciliation. And so there's some that shall escape the sword among the nations, when ye shall be scattered through the countries. Remember, there's a third of the nation that are scattered throughout, well, at this time, the known world, which would be the Babylonian Empire and all of the region around the Mediterranean Sea. That's the known world. And through the countries, okay. And they that escape of you, here it is, okay. They that escape of you shall remember me among the nations. Oh, we've forgotten about God. Why are we they're moaning and groaning. Why are we going through all this? Well, it's because of your idol-worshiping sin. You rotten nation of kids. That's what he said. You rotten kids. God said, hey, you're my children, but you're rotten, spoiled kids. But again, those that escape, they shall remember me, and among the nations whither they shall be carried captives. And of course, very famous Daniel, book of Daniel. Daniel and his 4 friends, they remembered God in the nations where they were carried, in the Babylonian nation. Nebuchadnezzar wanted to turn them into nice little Babylonians, but they stayed true to God. And this would describe them, those, Daniel and his 4 friends, and others of the captives that did not, become nice little Babylonians. Okay. And I better cliffhanger it for this week. This is the cliffhanger. The part of the movie where the hero is clinging by a branch off the edge of a cliff, and the movie ends right there, and it's continued next week, and next week he's rescued.